everyone, this is Jenny from DeFi Mum, and today we are going to look at Zapper and Zerion, which are websites, or what my husband would call interfaces, to look at how our wallet has been doing over the last week since we started this project, and since we put some money into Compound.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, good. So it's been a exciting week in crypto space. Should point out we're not doing this to make money. We're not doing this video channel because crypto prices have gone up. We're doing this because we think DeFi is interesting. So not investment advice or anything like that. But yeah, so in today's video we are gonna kind of use these things. I call them interfaces. They are web. They are web interfaces. Maybe that's the best way of looking at it. But when you look at most people, I guess, will be using something like MetaMask as a wallet. So if I switch to just show MetaMask here, so MetaMask is a way in which you kind of interact with the Ethereum blockchain, and you kind of see, you can broadly see the tokens that are in there, and it gives you some idea of what's kind of been happening, your activity.
So as a sort of a newbie to this, would this not be enough? Why would you need more information than what's on here?
Okay. So look at MetaMask. Okay.
Yeah.
and what do you think about that?
Okay. Well, it would. I guess it would show you, how your ETH has changed, gone up or down over the week or over time. If you're comparing to your other tokens, perhaps that you've got. Is that right? Yeah. We've got some DAI. So,
yeah. But that's actually Compound DAI, so it says C DAI. So because we took our DAI and we put it into Compound, so we changed it into.
Yeah, it was up there.
Yeah.
Now it's down there. That's right. But that doesn't show necessarily how it's changed unless you know what that number looked like a week ago.
Yeah. So it's kind of, MetaMask is fairly functional, and it kind of basically shows you what you've got now. And so it shows, you can see at the top here, it says 0.0212 ETH, and then it gives the dollar value of what that ETH is. Yeah. But you can kind of see we've also got like some of this C DAI, so it's just another token. But it's only it doesn't really tell us how much our wallet is worth, because it's only doing the Ethereum. When you go to activity, I mean, not particularly advanced necessarily, but this kind of shows what's happened on this wallet. And we can kind of see, I mean, some of this stuff makes sense. We've approved the DAI spend limit. Okay, we can kind of understand that. But some of this stuff, it's not particularly easy to understand, even for people who supposedly know what's going on. So this is kind of functional. MetaMask is designed to be a functional way of interacting with a blockchain. It's not, at the moment at least, designed to be particularly helpful about letting you know what's going on, or even what things you can do. Yeah, it's designed. It's a tool. It's like a very functional tool. It's not in any way kind of easy. It's not designed to be easy. It's designed to be functional. So the two kind of more easy to look at, at least, tools that we're going to look at today. So this one is called Zerion. So it's app.zerion.io, and then you kind of you can actually put any wallet address in here, but we've kind of connected our wallet to this. So we can kind of see here, obviously we've not got much in our wallet.
No, why would you do that though? If you wanted to look at other wallets, when you just go to this website, then
you go connect another wallet.
Right, I see.
Okay. So this, at least you can see graphically, is showing us something different. Obviously, all this stuff is based on the same information. So Ethereum is a public blockchain, which means anyone can see what's going on. But we can see here, maybe this is, I don't know how helpful this is. It shows how the value of our wallet has gone up and down over different periods of time. So we've only really had the wallet for a week. So we can see here at the top, one interesting thing straight away. It says, so MetaMask says our wallet is worth $25.10, and this one immediately adds it all together.
So that's the added Compound DAI that we've got,
And so you can see here, assets, it has the ETH, and then on the side here, it treats the compound as savings because it's earning this interest.
Why would that not be under here? All assets. Would
Yeah.
it die? The compound die?
Well,
Would that not be under there?
Not really. So the way, because it gets quite complicated in DeFi, that you can have these tokens locked into these DeFi dApps, and they're not just tokens that are just sitting doing nothing. They're tokens you've put into a product, and they're doing things. In the case of our savings here, we can see how much DAI we've got. We can see the US dollar value, and we can see this is actually not very clear, but the 3.63% that's how much interest it's earning.
Yeah.
As a savings kind of instrument. And I guess over time as we do other things, we potentially have other tokens that we have in savings, dApps.
Yeah.
But then we could take out maybe borrow some money. So then that would be like a borrowing, the money that we owe.
Yeah.
So that would be in there.
That would be in its own box.
That would have its own little box, and then you could have things like staking, which is sort of the same as savings, but also sort of different. So as you get more complex things going on here, this kind of like really fills out. And I guess at that point, the contrast with MetaMask, which literally just shows you what's going on, becomes clearer.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we won't go into massive amounts of detail here, but you can see on this side here we have history. So this is obviously the same history, the same activity that we saw in MetaMask.
Yeah.
But this now at least is a bit clearer. So we can see the last thing we did was we deposited 14.553 DAI into compound.
Yeah.
We approved DAI, we enabled borrowing. So remember when we did compound, we had to pay those things. We traded in Uniswap. We traded some ETH for some DAI.
Yeah. So even to me, this kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
That I know that we did go through this process sort of thing. Whereas in MetaMask,
no,
it wasn't. I didn't.
And then there's other things, and there's arguments I would say that these kind of things are not so helpful necessarily, certainly for people just getting into the scene. So we've clicked on invest here. So this is like saying, this is trying to help you make decisions about what you could do with your value. So it's saying these are the top tokens. So maybe you want to think these tokens are going to go up. At the moment, everything's going down.
It looks like it's going down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but because everything's gone up so much, so things are going down a little bit now. So this is kind of the problem that this is just showing what's happened recently. It's not really giving you
what recently. The last couple of hours,
I don't know,
of days or weeks.
That would probably be 24 hours, I would think.
Right. Okay.
And then it's saying things like yield farming. So for people in the space, they know exactly what yield farming is, but for obviously it's a very weird sort of thing. And then you have these social tokens. This should not really be here at all, I don't think. Layer 2 scale. I mean, this kind of stuff starts to get fairly complex now, and it's not the sort of thing that you should just be diving into. Anyway, that's there. The market is just showing you. So this is kind of, in a sense, helpful. This is showing the price of all the tokens at the moment, all the tokens that they support. This is all Ethereum tokens.
Yeah.
That's in a sense that's quite helpful. We can see over the last 3 months, ETH has gone up 224%. So that can be helpful if you're kind of thinking. Again, this is not investment advice at all, but it's clearly with cryptocurrencies, people think, well, I think this one's going to go up, sort of thing. I wouldn't really recommend that sort of thinking, but people do that. And then there's exchange. So as we did with MetaMask, we could exchange tokens within Zerion. So Zerion is trying to build itself out as something that lets you see what's going on, but also tries to inform you and let you do some of these things.
Mm-mm. So we had this discussion during the week. What is actually a dApp? What defines a dApp? Because I wasn't quite clear on what that was. So is this the dApp element of
yes?
This
I would say. I mean, these things are all a little bit fluid. So when Zerion launched, it was very much an interface that you used, and then over time they've added this sort of functionality. So this wasn't in there when it launched a year ago, but they've added this sort of stuff in. And similarly now, this might take a bit of time to load by looks of things. They have these options, so you could do some of these saving things within Zerion. So the things we did in Compound, you could do them within Zerion. So Zerion will be actually doing those things in in dApps like Compound.
So you don't have to go back to the compound just because that's
No.
what you used initially.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's pools, so not going to go into detail here. This is how you can earn fees by effectively putting your tokens into dApps like Uniswap, and then also borrowing, which is the other side of what we saw on Compound. If you want to borrow tokens, but so we can see here, this is actually quite nice that it knows. It can see, because it sees our tokens. It can see we've used Compound. It can see we've got this amount of collateral. So if we wanted to, we could make a loan from Zerion. The loan would be through Compound, but we'd be doing it from this interface rather than going into Zerion and doing it.
Yeah.
Going into Compound and doing it. And then we could, and if you imagine we were doing this in a few different dApps, then this would then show us, this would give us like a clear view of everything we've done rather than going into the individual dApps to see it. So at the moment, if we go into Compound, we can see, obviously it's exactly the same information because this is exactly the same wallet. We can see, what we've got here, how much we've earned. So we've actually earned two cents.
Yeah.
Or no, 2 DAI, I should say. We've actually earned a bit of. We've earned.
So that's almost $2. $2
No.
would be.
Yeah, it's 0.02.
Right. No.
So
not 2 DAI.
2/100th of a DAI.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Because 4% a year, we've only got $15.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. No, I thought that's.
Seems too good to be true. So so that's Zerion, which I do quite like. All these things, I mean, have personal views on how these things are. And the other one we're going to look at, which is broadly similar, but has kind of evolved in a slightly different way, is called Zapper. So this is Zapper.fi. And again, I'll kind of keep repeating myself, it kind of shows the same. These numbers should roughly be the same. They're slightly off, aren't they? So this is 39.68, and this is 39.81. So even with these very small amounts of token value we've got, there's they're just working things out slightly differently depending on where they get their prices from, and the crypto price changes all the time. So, but clearly this is not significant.
But so interestingly, there here then that's called an asset. Asset, this here, ETH is an asset, and DAI in Compound an asset.
Yeah.
Whereas here, all assets. Yeah. And it's not there. The DAI one. It's on the side.
Yeah, I mean that's so.
I mean, it's just a little technicality.
No, but it's an important thing to do. So I don't know. I think with Zapper, they're not entirely sure themselves. So they have this little switch view thing here, and if you switch view, it will kind of show you the information in a slightly different way. So in this case, it has the wallet is the tokens, and deposits is kind of the savings thing. So it splits it up in different ways. So at least I think this gives you the option of actually seeing the. You can imagine having more tokens and more this being filled out a little bit. And if you had a lot of tokens in here, you might
go here to simplify.
You might want to see. So I've got this in my wallet that's not doing anything. I've got this in in savings. I've got this in yield farming. Potentially I've got this borrowed. This is my debt. And it gives you this kind of weird little split. So Zapper, in a sense, is. Personally, at the moment, it's the one I kind of like a bit more. I mean, I generally have both of them open, so you're not paying for them or anything.
So then, in comparison, what does one of them give you that the other one doesn't? Do you think?
So I think Zerion has more options in terms of all these different things you could do.
Yeah.
And I don't think Zapper has. It does have an exchange. I was going to say it didn't have an exchange. So it is quite a personal sort of thing.
Exchanging between tokens.
Yeah. So here we can exchange between tokens. Yeah. So I mean that's fairly a simple thing to do. So everyone has that. So Zapper has this sort of. I find it a bit more intuitive. So this just says invest, and I mean again this is horribly complicated even for people who supposedly know what they're doing.
These are all different tokens then, I assume?
No, these are not tokens. These are liquidity pools. So this is where you would take tokens and invest them, and then you would earn fees on the basis of it.
Right.
But this you really need to know. You need to know really what you're doing to get involved in this sort of stuff. I mean, I don't think this is terribly helpful, to be totally honest. So I kind of quite like.
Well, I mean, these websites might just assume that you know a little bit before you get on it, and not just.
Well, this is the dangerous thing, isn't it?
It will become more and more like people like me who are just starting to be interested in, and you want it to be easy, and helpful to the people as well, to some extent.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's difficult because DeFi has some super clever, engaged people with lots of value who just want to do things, you know, in a sense they want to do complicated things and they don't want stuff to be simplified. They really want to know what's going on. And then you have people, you know, increasingly at the moment, new people coming in just going, what's this all about? You know, can you help me a little bit? So really no one product can cater to that range of experience.
No,
So
it's understandable.
So I'm always a little bit more nervous that products that make complicated things a bit too easy are probably less helpful than, you know, less good, because people can get out of their depth. And I've felt it myself. You know, you can get out of your depth pretty quickly, and suddenly you're just like, what am I doing here? So making things too easy is not so good. So I think Zapper, although I don't think none of these things are perfect, I think it kind of encapsulates stuff a bit better. I think Zerion's good that it kind of breaks these out in a different way, but I think it's a problem. I've used a lot of DeFi apps like this, or, you know, interfaces like this, and none of them they're just solving different ways. The other thing I really like about Zapper, and it's a very small aspect of it, is here. So remember we were talking about gas prices.
Yeah.
And gas prices is the fee you pay whenever you do a transaction on Ethereum blockchain, and it's measured in this unit called Gwei. Don't worry about it. But basically, Gwei is at the moment, roughly as a rule of thumb, anything over 100 would be seen as kind of high. I mean, it has been as high as 300, 400 in the last week. But this kind of gives you a general idea of how much is the gas fee for what I'm going to do. That does depend on exactly what you're going to do. So
that is the current gas fee.
So that is showing you the current gas fee is fast is 55, standard is 54, and instant is 57. Yeah. So that is actually much lower than it was. Like even today, other times today. So that's just kind of quite helpful, just to give you. Otherwise, you can very easily go and find out what the gas fee is on different websites. But this just kind of gives you, certainly for the very small amounts we're dealing with, it's kind of like, if gas fee was 100, then we wouldn't bother doing anything, sort of thing. Even at 55, it's probably a bit too high, but it gives you an idea of what you're doing. And again, we have this transaction thing, so it's kind of showing us what's going on there. Probably not. This is not probably quite as good as the Zero. I think Zerion does it a bit better, actually, showing what's going on. So that's kind of all we've got for this video. I think it's just I think sometimes it's kind of nice because this stuff is quite hard to focus in your head.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to see things
to get a good
different
overview.
Ways. And I think people do like this sort of thing. People do like to see, if they have, obviously more amounts. If we started off with $31 and we ended up with $40, so it's not that's quite nice in percentage terms. But
it will depend a little bit, I suppose, what purpose you have with your investing, and what just a personal preference, really, or what you find what makes sense. And
the other thing we should point out,
understand the numbers
quickly before we go. So Zerion does have a mobile app as well. So this QR code is if you want to kind of connect to your mobile app, you can do that very easily with that. And also it has this option to let you buy crypto from within the app, which is
buying
kind of
from what, other wallets, or buying from
no you buy with a credit card.
Yeah, right.
So you would choose, you want to buy ETH, you want to you can do different things, or different things you could do. And actually MetaMask does have that as well, I think, somewhere.
We'll be looking at that in another video as well. But for tonight, and if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to write it in the comments. And thank you for listening. Bye.